There's nothing small about this morning's guest other than business. Find out what he's all about coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Italian Restaurant of the Year, Villa Romana, at 707 South Kings Highway in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on strengthening small businesses, and we're visiting with the co-founder of Performance Plus. Good morning, Harold Swanner.
Good morning, Greg.
Thanks so much for coming in early on a Friday morning.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
A lot going on. Of course, you co-founded, you're the owner of Performance Plus, which is helping to really strengthen small business in our area and throughout the state. I think you highlighted just having gotten back from some strengthening up in the upstate.
Yes. This is being nice to be at an age where you can do things that really give back to the other people in the community.
Right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Who was the co-founder with you of Performance Plus, Harold?
Tom Mazer.
Oh, good.
We worked together for 9 years with Fortune Academy.
Right. He's the former president of Fortune Academy. That's right. And you held a role also at Fortune Academy.
Yes. I was minor role. I was the owner and let other people do the work.
You were the owner and let other folks make it happen. That's right. You've surrounded yourself with a great team there at Fortune Academy.
As an owner, that is the most critical part. You've had team people that are better than what you are.
Right, right.
And many small owners are afraid to hire people that equal or better than they are, which is a mistake.
And why do you think that is?
Ego.
Ego, really. That's fascinating. As opposed to really finding folks that are tops. Right. They go for folks that are second tier maybe, or that may not know the business as well. That's
Correct.
Unfortunate.
It very, very definitely is.
How did you go about selecting Tom Mazer to run Fortune Academy?
Several years ago, Tom was on our board of directors.
Right.
From that, we started talking about assisting us, Fortune, in a few projects.
Sure.
From that point, we then started talking about joining us completely.
Right.
And it took a few months to work out the details, and it's history now. That
is tremendous. And speaking of history, Fortune Academy, and you had the opportunity to team up with a group, I believe, in Texas, who is or from somewhere in the Midwest, who has since purchased Fortune.
Yes, 360 training out of Austin, Texas.
Right.
Met them at a conference, I discussed it at a conference a year and a half ago.
Right.
They was in a mode of expansion.
Sure.
We were able to work out a deal where they purchased the business December 1st of last year.
That is tremendous. Wow, what is it like having grown a business from virtually nothing, Harold, back in 1995 up till August of 07. Up till December 1 of 07, and then having found somebody to take it potentially to the next level. I don't know how you can go beyond the level you'd gotten it to. Share with viewers just what it was like back in 1995.
Well, basically, starting being in business for the last 39 years, to be able to end your career on a high note is probably the best thing to happen to you other than having good health.
Right.
When I started Fortune Academy in 1995, we had one instructor, one administration person, teaching 3 classes a month.
In how many locations?
One location.
One location with one instructor.
By the time we sold it, we had 14 locations, 80-something instructors, teaching somewhere between 200 and 300 classes a month.
That is incredible, Harold.
So it's nice to be able to retire on the top side versus.
Well, that was not the first business you'd been in. Give viewers a sense real quick just about what prompted how you first got into business a number of years ago.
Well, I'm 33 years old. I purchased a furniture store because that's the only thing I find I could afford.
So you found what you could afford. Good for you, yeah.
So had the desire to be in business. It was good for about 12 years until the economy caught up with us.
Mm.
And then I went from the furniture business to a restaurant for a small time.
Right.
From restaurant.
Did you actually help prepare the meals or just as an owner there?
Both.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
So much like Villa Romana here,
Much smaller place.
right, right,
And then from that, I went into business brokerage for about 15 years.
right.
Finally found a business that was so good I couldn't sell to anybody else, so I bought it myself.
That is
And that
true.
was Fortune Academy.
Oh, you were actually representing the seller
Yes,
of Fortune Academy as a business broker.
yes, that's how I found it.
That's amazing. That is amazing. As you think back, of course, so many opportunities. And in this area, you said you founded Coastal Business Brokers.
Yes, I found the Coastal Business Broker in '85 when I moved to Myrtle Beach.
Okay. What actually prompted your move to Myrtle Beach? If you founded a business down here, had you always been thinking about founding a business brokerage?
No. Basically, we moved to Myrtle Beach because we're tired of the cold weather and overcast in Cleveland, Ohio. And had vacationed here before and decided this might be a good place to come and spend a year and enjoy ourselves.
Right.
Got here and loved it, started a business, and this history since then.
That's tremendous. You also have a son who's practicing attorney, I believe, here in Myrtle Beach.
Yes, he's been here about 15 years as an attorney.
Is that right, David?
Yes.
That is wonderful. Harold, is there some secret to success to actually taking a company from virtually nothing there in 1995? Not to take anything away from the previous owner, but he had set the stage, just focused right here on the Grand Strand. Is there some secret to success there?
Well, the secret success in Fortune was that the previous owner was in what I call a retirement mode, kept a good running operation, but did not want to grow. I was at an age of 58 years old, needing to establish a retirement program. Mm-hmm. And I bought it with intention of expanding it, and we were fortunate enough that we were able to accomplish the dream that we had at the time it was bought.
Right, of truly expanding.
Truly.
Did you ever imagine that it would get to 14 locations statewide, Harold?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. The day I bought it, or before I bought it, the reason I bought it, I thought I could do that with it.
Is that right? You thought you could expand it throughout the state. Did you ever think going beyond South Carolina borders, going beyond the Palmetto State?
I almost purchased a school up in Raleigh, and as the more I investigated, the more lucky I was I never got to complete the deal.
Right.
When you cross the state line, your rules and regulations and course approvals and instructor approval, everything is so different.
Right.
That it's difficult to work under two different environments.
So truly, you were blessed to have just stuck it out here in the Palmetto State, and you covered virtually every, if not every, major community in the state.
We had a location within less than 70 miles of anybody in the state.
Wow.
We had 50% market share when we sold it.
50% market share statewide.
Statewide.
That is tremendous, Harold. Congratulations. Well, Tom, of course, really helped lead the ship there and open those doors. And I know you teamed up with the community college or the technical colleges statewide to help roll out. Share with viewers what that was like, getting hooked up with community college, technical colleges throughout the state.
Well, in 2000, we found that as rules and regulations changed in the education deal, we found that the technical college were not prepared to meet the new requirements of schools. So overnight, we moved from one location to 8 locations.
Right.
From the time we first talked to the people, 90 days later, we had students and instructor in 8 locations.
That is tremendous.
It's probably the most difficult things I've ever done, to expand that quick, that fast.
Oh, yeah. But you had to do it. I mean, if you were going to do it, you had to make it happen quick.
If it go happen, we had to do it before somebody else did.
Right, right. That is amazing. So clearly you have the experience. When we talk about strengthening small business, you have been through it in the last 12 years of taking Fortune Academy from one location and one instructor and one administrative person to as large as you grew it to in late '07.
Not only that I had that, but in 39 years I have all the good experiences. I've also encountered most negative experiences that owners can encounter, where I learned more about what not to do. Right. And you learn more when you experience negative things than you do when things are going real good for you.
Well, I bet that provides a lot of practical experience to small business owners who are probably stuck in a lot of negativity, living through a lot of difficult times, and they need someone who's also lived through some tough times as well, who's experienced what they've experienced.
You can relate to them much better going through the problems that they are going through today than if you've never experienced those problems.
Right. That's a very good point. So
and then couple that with being able to go out on the top with good success is a plus factor to that.
That's great. Harold, if a viewer needs to get off to work now or get family out of the house, is there a good phone number or even maybe an email address if someone wanted to learn more about Proformance Plus?
446-8666.
Okay, sure.
Day or night.
Great, great.
And email would be harold@performanceplus.biz, B-I-Z.
Okay, great. Harold@proformanceplus.biz. And you said 843-446-8666. If they miss you, they can just leave a message.
Correct.
That's wonderful. And, of course, Tom Mazer, your co-founder, who's very active with Proformance Plus as well. Just give viewers a sense. I think you shared earlier before we started filming, you can't actually name any clients. It's all confidential. They could talk about you helping them out, but you can't talk about them. But is there some industries that you're particularly interested in helping, or feel that is it real estate or just small business across the board? And what exactly is the size of a small business?
Let's talk about small business first.
Okay.
The government classifies everything as large business and small business.
Okay.
I've had a third classification, which basically is owner-operated.
Owner-operated.
Which is solid smaller than small business, because the SBA classifies small business 500 and less employees.
500 or less.
500
Wow,
or
that'd be
less.
huge in this area.
In this area, that's huge. Most of our business in Myrtle Beach here and throughout the country, what I call owner-operated, where the owner-operated got several employees, but he's active in it day to day.
Right.
Where the typical small business is run by a management team.
Right,
and there's
sure.
a major difference between a management team and an owner-operated business.
Oh, I bet. Absolutely. So much of Proformance Plus's focus is on owner-operator.
Yes, we're in the owner-operator side.
That's great. Good, good. Some of the, I think you highlighted, you're actually benefiting a group in the upstate.
I just came back from Spartanburg, where I started counseling a client in May that was losing a tremendous amount of money. And as of June, we have them turned around to be profitable and look to be on the way. July was even a better month.
Just in 90 days, Harold, that kind of a quick turnaround.
You should be able to turn the average company around in 90 days.
Is that right?
Company.
Wow. To help make sure they... now, what are some of the steps there that you'd go about? Does it depend on the company itself? What are some of the common steps that you see in most of your clients since you and Tom kicked off Proformance Plus? Are there some common things that you can do on a regular basis to help make sure these businesses really turn around?
Yeah, you have a 90-day program, basically. First 30 days is both learning the company, and most small business are avoiding doing the things they know they need to do.
Right.
And so you sort of declutter it and get the things that they shouldn't be doing out of their way. Right. Then you make by analysis, you got one of two directions to go. You either tackle reducing the cost, if in some cases, first. Other time you look at increasing sales.
Right.
So you make the decision which is the easiest, which way can you get the most benefit the quickest.
Right.
In most cases, it's by increasing productivity.
Sure, sure.
But in the case when we talk about upstate, they had relocations. In 6 weeks, we had them down, eliminated, and all transferred to one location.
Right.
With no loss of revenue.
Wow, really?
No loss. So we eliminate two overheads and kept the same revenue incoming.
That is tremendous.
So other cases, you go in and boost the productivity first, and once you get productivity up, then you go back to, after that, you look at how do you reduce operating costs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's each business so uniquely that you don't know exactly how you go do it, but you do start analyzing the business, and you wind up either reducing cost or increasing sales. And ultimately, you do both of them.
Right, right. Are there some business that you've helped use yourself, Harold, to model some model business that you've taken some some aspects from, or any books, anyone you've turned to? Do you have any mentors in the small business coaching or in the business coaching world that have really helped focus you, or is it truly from practical experience of your own?
Practical experience and observing.
Right.
There, I look at the major corporations and pick things that they've done that I feel that made them very successful.
Sure.
And seeing what of those I can adapt to a small business operator.
What are some examples of those?
Well, one of the ones I look at is McDonald's.
McDonald's, yes.
Nobody have ever told me McDonald's had the best hamburger they have ever ate.
Right.
But what McDonald's have is the most consistent hamburger they've ever ate.
Right. Right.
So consistency is extremely important in developing a company.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I look at Warren Buffett. Again, I can't do all the things he can, but the one thing he's consistent said that he only invests in things and do things in which he understands.
Right.
So when you're doing a business, you should keep to the areas in which you well understand.
That's a very good point. Absolutely.
So, yes,
Stick with business that you have some familiarity of.
And knowledge of.
Sure. Well, I've never done that, but that's a smart that's a smart way to do, I'm sure. Yes.
And the other thing I like to do, I like to particularly invest in an area in which I know of. I see a lot of people want to go across state line, go across the country, get involved in things that where they don't understand the market as well as they do here.
Right.
It seems like the grass is always a little greener over the state line.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bet.
And things.
How do you counsel folks to, I mean, you just practically say you shouldn't do that. You need to stay away from that. I've seen it in other instances where it just doesn't work.
In general, sometimes I'm overpowering.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Not good, but that's my personality.
Yeah, sure. Get it across one way or another. Just make sure they hear you.
And in general, if you can sit down and lay it out and that they're committed to improving, if you can explain it to them in a logical manner, you very rarely have any resistance in getting people to do it.
Right, right.
The problem with too many owner-operating business, they want to do it their way, and logic is not a part of it.
Right. Oh, I bet. Absolutely. I'm sure that comes into play. I hate to say it. I'm probably a great example of that many times in the past, just finding things you want to do, not necessarily being the most logical way to go, just things you really want to do.
You see this more often than you would like to.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they are committed to changing,
right.
No matter what we're counseling on, it won't work.
Mm-hmm. Harold, we had a guest on the show yesterday, and after the interview, he was talking about SCORE. We talked a little bit about SCORE during John Bonsignor, and he actually said he counsels with you sometimes on a separate world. On the nonprofit side, you've gotten real active. I think he said you chair one of the active committees. You've been a past president of the Grand Strand chapters, Chapter 381, which I think recently won a big place nationally of SCORE chapters around the country. Share with viewers about what prompted your involvement with SCORE and what it's all about.
Well, I started back working with SCORE back in the late 80s, worked with them about 7 years until I bought Fortune Academy. And at this time, I did not have the time to volunteer. I started back about 5 years ago prior to selling Fortune.
Right.
Being a member of SCORE.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I haven't chaired that many committees. Definitely had not been president.
Okay, forgive me. That's right. I don't want to attribute that to John Bonsignor. That was me. Yeah.
I think one of the greatest compliments I did, we got an advisory board started this year, made up of several different people. We got bankers on it, chambers of commerce, educators on it, newspaper people, small business people. We've got 11 members on the board.
Tremendous.
To help direct and find ways that we can serve the community better.
Right. A good advisory board there.
Good advisory board.
That's wonderful, and they've helped really kick off some things. Of course, SCORE is its aspect as counselors to America's small business.
Correct.
I believe we've had quite a few guests over the last 5 or 6 years on the show who have been active volunteers along with yourself on SCORE or with SCORE. It's a tremendous organization.
Yes. Again, the difference in the SCORE part is everything we do through SCORE is volunteer work.
Right.
We are counselors and the difference as we define counselor versus consultant
Right.
A counselor can sit down and discuss with them and do things, but they cannot actually come in and do any work for them. They can't write their business plan, or they can't sit down and do anything for the company. They can consult with them
Right.
only, where a consultant can actually come in and do some work.
Right, sure.
I think so.
And you get your hands dirty when you take on clients, Harold. You actually get in there, and the only way, I guess, to truly learn a business and to find where the skeletons are is to get your hands dirty.
You have to get your hands dirty. Many a time when you get into the consulting area, you actually got to deal with the personality of the owner first.
Right.
Before you can start dealing with the business itself.
Good point.
Because you cannot separate the business and the personal persons cannot be separated.
Right. Very good point.
So as a counselor with SCORE, we don't get so much involved with the personal issues and
Sure.
the financing. The one upstate, I got involved with how they handle their credit card problem, how they handle the real estate outside of the business, and how
Wow.
whatever it takes to get them turned around to be profitable.
Sure.
And to get the distractions out of their life so they can concentrate on how to run their business.
That's tremendous. mbscore.org if a viewer wants to go online and learn more about the Grand Strand chapter 381 of SCORE. Of course, again, Proformance Plus, Harold at proformanceplus.biz. A viewer can send you an email if they've got some questions or give you a call, which is great. Of course, we thank Harold for you so actively out there either volunteering for SCORE or doing small business coaching there. What do you do for fun? How do you have time to wind down a little bit?
Well, actually, that is fun. When you can see you're doing something that changed a person's life around, that is about as good as life gets.
Right.
Although does have a pontoon boat, we go out on the waterway and
Great.
deal. The last 2 months we've been out of town over about 4 weeks on traveling to
Is
different
that
locations.
right?
So,
Am I correct? You went to Alaska recently?
1st of June.
1st of June, so in the last 90 days. Yeah, what was that? Or in the last 60-some days. What was that trip like?
It was sort of a trip of a lifetime. It's so different. You can look at pictures. People can tell you about it. The closest thing I can compare it to when looking at it is you see pictures of the Grand Canyon.
Right.
But when you see the Grand Canyon, it's nowhere. That in the picture just can't find it. Life's the same way. All the picture, all the explanation, until you see it, you can't realize how massive it is and how sparsely it's populated.
Right, right. And who's going on all these trips with you, Harold?
My wife.
Sylvia.
Yes.
Yes, that's great. Good. So the two of you make a dynamic duo on trips around and y'all have been heading out to the mountains and otherwise taking some good trips recently.
Yeah, we've been up in the Maggie Valley, North Carolina, just got back from Chicago.
So you do know how to wind down.
Oh, I have no problem semi-retiring.
Semi-retiring, that's right. And how about Tom Mazer? He's still staying busy.
He's staying busy. He's recovering from a little health problem, but he's getting stronger.
Good. He has been chairing the foundation of Horry Georgetown Technical College, the foundation board there, year after year, something that I think was set up. It recently was named the auditorium there at the Grand Strand Campus Conference Center was named the Thomas C. Mazer Auditorium, which was tremendous.
That was a great honor for Tom, and the fact that he has contributed so much back to the community.
Right.
I think the great thing that Tom and I like is we're at an age of life that we can give back to the community and still have a little time to do what we need to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Harold, who's been your biggest inspiration? Is there anyone out there, anything that helps drive you, really inspire you to continue to be as strong as you are?
I don't think so. I think it's the thought of, I've seen so many retired people that pull up a rocking chair and they seem to shut their brain off, they don't do anything physically, and deteriorate very fast. And I think part of it, living to be longevity, is keeping both the physically and an active mind going.
Right. Great words. Harold, thanks so much for being with us this morning. Sorry we've run out of time.
It's been a pleasure, Greg.
Absolutely. Stay tuned. A little more Carolina People with Harold Swanner, the co-founder of Proformance Plus, small business consultant, coming up next. Who better to coach you in your small business, oftentimes an owner-occupied business, think about it. Who better coach? Who could there be out there? Look at that track record, 40 years in business. Arriving here in 1985, 23 years ago, and think about those experiences for him for 10 years when he created Coastal Business Brokers and grew that. But think about involving himself with all these small businesses, seeing the ups and downs of owner-occupied businesses, small businesses in this area, finding the things that really made him tick, finding things that didn't make him tick, and then taking one of his own clients and saying, I want to help grow this company. I'll take it off your hands. One location, one instructor, one administrative person back in 1995, and taken to what Fortune Academy's become, and ultimately will continue to grow in this area. Think about that, December 1st, 07, when he stepped out and opened the doors to Proformance Plus. They got a tremendous opportunity ahead of them. You can give them a call at 843-446-8666. If you're an owner-operator and need some help in growing your business, developing the program that you've got there, take the time to give them a call or send them an email at harold@proformanceplus.biz. Harold Swanner, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
It's been great to be here, Greg.
Absolutely, Harold. Great to get you in.